What's up? Welcome back to Yahazak Reacts channel. We got another virtual video today. Let me tell you what this one is. Most hilariously overpowered bug, and the thumbnail said driving backwards. Okay, that's all the context we need. Also, I reacted to one of his videos before. This guy makes absolutely banger shit. I don't know. I forgot to subscribe. My bad. I'm gonna pre-like the video. That I already expect it to be good. Fucking small cam. Here we go.
In the 20-year-long history of Trackmania games, the developers have almost never placed restrictions on how the games should be played.
I like that already. The audio seems louder to me. Unless that's my headphones bugging. I take words back. It's probably my headphones bugging.
Even though many maps are broken due to shortcuts, in the 20-year-long history of Trackmania games, the developers have almost never placed restrictions on how the games should be played.
Yep, because where's the fun in that? I think part of the fun in games, in physics games, if you could call them that, is finding out ways you can exploit it.
Many maps are broken due to shortcuts. Nadeo have stayed out of it and allowed players the freedom to compete for world records through the use of bugs and glitches. But in April of 2014, a Trackmania player discovered a bug so powerful that Nadeo had to intervene. The bug could potentially break all the maps in Trackmania 2 and fundamentally change the way the game was played. That bug, as hilarious as it sounds, was to drive the car backwards.
Nobody has tried it before, guys. He's the first person ever to try driving backwards. What a revolution. Fuck. Just move the screen.
Two and a half years after its release, Mario 89 has discovered that it's actually faster to drive backwards in Trackmania 2 Canyon. As seen in the footage, Mario 89 is demonstrating this by beating a world record on a newly released ESL tournament map.
Also, why does the car look like a car? I swear the cars in
6th of April 2000.
I swear the cars in the previous one we watched looked like, you know, race cars, not like actual cars.
Germany were set to play a tournament match against North America in Trackmania 2 Canyon. The Germans, punctual as ever, showed up on time, but their opponents were late.
Might be a different version of the game.
Bored and waiting for the opponents to show up, the player Marius89 started driving backwards for fun when he noticed that it was actually surprisingly fast. After their match concluded, Marius wanted to experiment more, so him and his teammates went on an online server to try it out. What he discovered is that for whatever reason, the acceleration when driving backwards was absurdly high. Eventually, you accelerate so much that the car becomes near impossible to control. At this point, any steering movement stronger than 10% will cause the car to slide out, either making you crash or lose all of it.
So I can see how you do this with like a keyboard that has the fucking Wu-Tang 60 keyboard. Hold up, let me show you what I mean. See this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. There's no way the devs actually, well, that wouldn't make sense. So maybe there's custom like buttons for the game. We'll see. Maybe he'll explain it. Let's not interrupt. Let him cook, right?
Full grip through turns and jumps on technical canyon tracks required surgical precision. But Marius had a clever idea to make it a bit easier. By using a tool called DX Tweak, he could limit the steering range of his controller.
Ah,
so if he moved the analog stick all the way to the side, it would only produce 25% steering. This gave him the benefit of having much more precision, with the disadvantage of never being able to steer more than 25%.
But you could also use the
backwards driving.
How about if you need to steer more than 25%, can you like mix controller and keyboard, or maybe use the D-pad for strong steering and then the controller? This is the shit that makes me want to try the game just for a bit. But like, I know I'll try it and I'll get instantly fucked up by all the way better players and give up.
Marius 89 beat a world record lap on a competitive canyon track by driving backwards. The reactions from the other players were mixed, finding it both amazing and terrifying at the same time. Realizing the destruction.
Oh shit, you guys can't see the reactions. Holy shit, my bad. Look, here we go.
That day, Marius89 beat a world record lap on a competitive canyon track by driving backwards. The reactions from the other players were mixed, finding it both amazing and terrifying at the same time. Realizing the destruction this could cause. Backwards driving wasn't just a situational trick that would work on a handful of maps. This could fundamentally change how Trackmania 2 Canyon was played. Over the next days, Marius managed to break several other prestigious canyon records by driving backwards, but the time gains weren't exactly crazy. He always lost a lot of time turning around in the start, and often barely regained the lead again before the finish line.
I see, so it's like technically a cool trick, but you gotta optimize it, because yeah, he's basically the first person to even sorry, the first person to even try driving backwards. So someone would have to take it upon themselves to get like proper keybinds set up and all that, to get like the exact number of steering you need to be able to get
just how
more
much
speed
faster
done.
backwards driving could be under ideal conditions. And
I mean, that looks
looking for the
stupid.
perfect map for a backwards speed one. A map where he could build up a ton of speed and preserve it for a long time.
Or yeah,
And
fuck it,
one
just find the
where
right
he
map.
wouldn't lose time turning around in the start. And he found it in another game. This is arguably the best track for backwards driving.
What?
Valley A05.
You're telling me
Since
the
layout
bug
of
carried over
track
to the
is
other
a
game?
circle,
Okay.
You could just drive the entire track in reverse.
I forgot it was
and
big.
forgo the time loss of turning around in the start. And since the track limits are wide, you would be able to accumulate a ton of speed throughout all 3 laps of the race. How much time
Makes
can
sense.
backwards driving save on a track like this? Marius's run started innocuously, as he
We'll say he gets there like 30% faster than everyone else.
immediately had to climb up a big hill, not getting the chance to accelerate much in the first 10 seconds. Not long after, he
I like the
crossed
slow trail
paths with
effect.
the world record Ghost,
That's cool.
which was already on its way to complete the first lap about 3 seconds ahead.
Ghost? Oh, okay, yeah, makes sense. So it's like, so you don't collide with a car. Yep, okay.
But this is also where the compounding effect began, and the acceleration of the backwards driving truly kicked in.
That's so stupid. That's so stupid.
By the end of lap 2, Marius was well ahead of the record, and he had yet to drive his fastest lap on the track. At this velocity, any sudden steering movement will make the car slide out.
But the car won't
Marius
suddenly steer because
managed
she
to
has the
hold the
controller
position.
shit set up.
He kept full grip and accelerated all the way until
Yep.
the finish line, crossing it with a 47.81.
What's
over
the previous?
6 seconds
6
faster
seconds.
than the world
Okay, you know what?
record,
30 seconds
which
was a bit of a gross overestimation, but I guess, I mean, 6 seconds is still huge, especially, we watched the previous video. I know that people fight for like 1/100th of a second here in this game, so yep, sounds good.
in Trackmania, where players compete for milliseconds, is a ridiculous
Exactly,
margin.
he literally just said
Last
that.
week I reported about
Look,
it being
why do I keep interrupting this man? I should just let him cook.
faster to drive backwards in Canyon, but it turns out it's also faster in Valley. As seen in this video made by Andrew, it seems to be just as effective as it is in Canyon. However, it looks like this backward driving will not last for long, as in the next Mania Planet update it apparently will be fixed.
Marius had proved how ridiculously overpowered backwards driving could be.
Yeah,
The developers
Makes
at
sense.
Nadeo, who had previously stomached bugs being used to gain time, knew they had to do something. No racing
I mean, if
game
it's a
can
minor
take
bug
it
that's hard to
seriously
pull off,
if the most optimal
that makes sense, but yeah, I can see this being like bad for the game if everyone just starts driving backwards and it's just gonna kind of become stupid. I can see the devs not wanting to leave something like this in.
strategy is to turn around and start driving backwards.
Yeah,
In a forum post, Nadeo stated that the bug would be fixed with the release of Mania Planet 3 in the end of April
no, once MP3 gets, guys, MP3. What the fuck am I even?
2014. When the patch finally came out, it seemed like that was that. Nadeo had completely gutted the car's backwards acceleration.
Or that's what
both
we
in
thought. The
Canyon
video was only
and in
6 minutes
Valley.
done out of
Not
13.
only did the car accelerate slower backwards, but once you reached 250 speed, it completely stopped accelerating further. You could at least still drive the car backwards, but trying to gain time with it was a lost cause. For a while after the patch, nothing more really happened. People had
Did the patch come out? Did the patch come out on the older game? Because I remember this guy specifically went to a different game to look for the bug. So did they patch all the games, or did they change just one of them? Because that would be funny if the guy's like, "All right, boys, time to go back to the old game where the bug is still not fixed."
come to accept that the days of backwards
That would
driving
be-
faster were over, and were now just another page in the Trackmania history books. 5 years would come and go until in 2019, something very interesting happened. Marius89 was again playing Trackmania 2 Valley on an online server.
Okay, so same game.
He turned around the car on a jump and started driving backwards just for fun.
I was on the server, normal driving, then I thought in a jump, hey, let's turn the car 180. And I believe I landed then backwards, but I was still keeping the acceleration button, not brake. What I saw is that the speed that you have is absolutely stable, but once you steer, you gain speed.
On the jump, Marius noticed that his car would perfectly preserve the exact
Okay, so
speed he landed with.
you just have to pretend you're driving forwards, but actually drive backwards. No, that makes complete sense.
Any powerful backwards acceleration. But weirdly enough, as soon as he started steering, his speed increased. Marius would then go on to create a map with this as a premise. A map where if one turned around on a jump and drove backwards, it would be somewhat competitive against forwards drivers. It was a fun concept, but it didn't seem like this trick could be applied anywhere else. 1 year later, they announced their brand new...
Now we're looking at these ones. This is the previous video we watched was with these cars. This one has me. This one feels like actual Trackmania now. I don't know why I associate these weird looking cars with the game.
Trackmania game.
Like serious
Trackmania
gameplay.
2020. The release date was set for the 1st of July 2020, and most players were rushing to complete their big project in the older games before that. Marius had teamed up with the player Lars to build a massive map called Valley Parkour. The theme of the map was to feature every unique trick in Trackmania Valley that they could think of. One of those tricks being backwards driving. Lars and Marius wanted to create a checkpoint where backwards driving would be faster, as an homage to the absurd discovery all those years ago. What they noticed was the same pattern that Marius had come across 1 year earlier, that turning when driving backwards gained speed. They theorized that the reason for this is because in
should you know just AD, or like left, right, will that not accelerate you, or will you just spin out and hit a wall? I don't really get it, but
forwards gameplay,
I'm assuming there's a reason that doesn't work.
Acceleration decreases whenever you steer. But what the developers overlooked is that on the flip side, this then increases your acceleration if you...
Oh, that's actually really obvious now that I think of it. Yeah, of course. It just accelerates you negatively, which is positive for backwards. That's actually cool.
Driving backwards. If you wiggled back and forth in a straight line, the car would build up a ridiculous amount of speed.
So they do wiggle. Oh my god, I'm actually 69 IQ. That's not very high, but that's... It is what it is.
We're 400, man. It's so fast. What the fuck?
So good.
Happening?
That's so good.
Holy shit.
It was immediately obvious to them that the wiggle trick was more than just a checkpoint on a trial map. It had the potential to break world records, and they had no time to waste. Lars immediately went back to where it all began, on Valley AO5, 6 years after the first backwards runs, and he started wiggling as much as he could.
Oh, is he gonna get the whole fucking thing done again, but on this map? Yeah. Also, it's cool that this kind of gives you an insight into how the game's physics system works, because, you know, the fact that wiggling back and forth literally reduces your speed. It's not like you lose speed because of like some specific physics interaction that happens by you moving around. No, it literally just goes and takes your speed away. Or, in other words, add speed if you're doing the weird method. I'll call this the Aki way. Original name, by the way. He's gaining speed, guys. He's almost at the...
Incredibly enough, this trick
literally got a record
ever since the update in 2014, and it took them 6 years to rediscover it. But that night, Lars obliterated the world record with a 50.41, 3 seconds faster than forwards.
Insane.
The community's reaction the following morning were again mixed. Some were
Come on, some people have to be hyped. Okay, how is this gonna be mixed? Someone went and fucking spent a bunch of time on a strat that might not even work. Everyone who's salty is just salty because there's no reason
Of
to
a
be salty
wiggling
about people
backwards
finding
car
a cool trick.
destroying prized world records. The AO5 world record was broken several times, and for the first time, without the use of DX Tweak. The players Lamartifis managed to do it on a joystick, without limiting the steering range of the device. Some days later, BO5, another multi-lap track, was also beaten by the backward strategy, by almost.
I wonder if this would be really fucking good with an analog keyboard. When did analog keyboards come out? I mean, actually, yeah. It seems the first people that are talking about analog keyboards were actually of the Wu-Tang. Maybe it's the first popular one. So yeah, with this thing, right, with what... Sorry. So with one of those, you might actually be ahead of the game in Trackmania. 100%. If I ever play Trackmania, I'm saving up for one of these bad boys because it's just gonna be so fun.
12 seconds. Some parts
For no
of the
reason in
community
particular,
looked to
just for
Nadeo
fun.
to take
Obviously,
action.
it's not gonna make me better than a player that's better, but it just sounds cool.
Nadeo were working on the release of Trackmania 2020, and they weren't going to spend resources on fixing a 7-year-old game.
Makes sense.
One of the main arguments against driving backwards was that it would ruin the fairness of competition. That backwards driving is too far, and a potential threat for many other records.
Hey, have you
Especially
seen
when you keep in
speedrun
mind that
strats
this
for
is
older
not
games?
doable.
They're completely fucked up, and nobody complains because... Well, I guess no, this is different because in this game, by getting a better record than someone who set it the fair way, so to speak, you're kind of overriding their progress because that's how leaderboards work. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I think it's not fair to blame the backwards drivers. Honestly, it's just a fault with the system. It is what it is. I wouldn't say... Yeah, okay, I agree with what he says. It is a step too far, but also at the same time, I think you can't go and tell the players not to do it because it's fun to set a new record. We're given a chance, especially if you're not doing anything technically illegal.
For keyboard players
Illegal, like
whatsoever.
in the games.
I'm personally
like
vouching
cheating.
for a fix and a deletion of all impacted records.
Yeah, okay, vouching for a fix, that's cool. That's cool. I think asking players not to do it, that would be kind of not cool. That's my take on it.
Despite the call to action by the fairest competitor out there, Nadeo didn't end up patching
Oh
anything.
yeah, this is Riulu. Yeah, okay, you know what? Now I am 100% on the side for take back anything what I said. From the previous video we watched, I know that this guy is a giga chat. He's so fucking good at the game and spends a bunch of time as well. He's a grinder. Right. Yeah, okay.
I'm personally vouching for a fix and a deletion of all impacted records.
Same.
Despite the call to action by the fairest competitor out there, Nadeo didn't end up patching anything, and they let the players figure it out amongst themselves.
It is what it
Most
is.
of
There's
the
a new
top
game now.
players
Go
who
play that
stuck
instead, I
around in
suppose.
Valley came to an agreement to not use the backwards trick, as
Oh,
to not
wow.
ruin further records. But
Cool.
since it
Cool that the players
existed
are able
within
to do
the
that.
game and was possible without third-party tools, and Nadeo wasn't going to patch it, it was just a matter of time before someone explored it further.
Yeah.
In
Yeah. As I thought.
2022, the player Crip discovered that more maps than ever could be broken backwards.
In that same old game. Hell yeah.
Up until then, the maps that had been broken were driven entirely in reverse. This is mainly because players adjusted their steering range to 20% in DX Tweak. Therefore, they couldn't turn normally beforehand. Crip was able to get around this by playing the first half of his run on a keyboard. And then when he reached
That's literally what I was saying. I'm actually so smart, bro. Guys, I would literally be the world's best player right now if I was playing back then. What? I'm actually 690,000 IQ.
a part that could be faster backwards, he switched to a controller to do the smooth inputs required. In most racing games, steering wheel is the clear best option for an input device. But in Trackmania 2 Valley, with this laughably powerful bug, the most optimal setup is now to dual wield a run with a keyboard and a controller that can only achieve 20% steering.
Hell
As
yeah.
it stands, 8 maps
Or an
out of
analog
65
keyboard.
in the Valley
And on one of those, you'd be able to send some keys to be able to do pressure detection kind of shit. And while on the... So, like... with a keyboard like the Wu thing that I showed you, you'll be able to make a few keys to have to do like you full press equals 20%, and on the other ones you make it like that. So all you need to do is you just move your hands over from having to press keys on like this side of the keyboard. You just go from here to here, and then that's it. That'll be even easier, and that's possible now that those keyboards are sellable.
Backwards. And as
Holy
ridiculous
shit.
as it is, the expectation is that backwards driving will remain a part of the game now.
I wonder if people
But it's
actually
as
play on
that
keyboards
old
like that.
saying goes.
We should look that up
Sometimes
after
you
the
have
video
to
ends.
take one step backwards to go 2 steps forwards. And we might see even more world records with this in the future.
Alright, like the pun.
If you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe
Of course
to
I
the
did.
channel. As
We already
bring
subscribed, already liked, boys. Everyone who just watched this video, gather up. We gotta go follow his channel, sub, like the video, maybe even watch it while it's muted. Leave a nice comment, because I am technically just leeching off of his content. You know, it wouldn't be nice for me to just, we'll put it that way. You watch my video, cool. Now watch it from his perspective, although you probably have already. Anyways, that's that. Let's look up. Let's do a bit of research. Trackmania. Oh, that's not how you spell the game. Let's see what they... Okay, they actually tweeted. That's so good. Our keyboards cause some fuss in Trackmania by using fixed analog values for an unfair advantage. I am actually so fucking smart. It's unbelievable. Solid response from the developers. Tips for devs. Support the Wu-Tang analog and restrict players certain used similar to controllers. DM is open. Actually, I don't want to read too much into it, but guys, this is proof that I'm the smartest person alive. Right here. We have it. We have it, folks. Yeah, subscribe to his channel. Sub to mine. This one, don't care that much. Go to my main channel, though. I make really high effort videos there. They take a ton of time to edit, though. So, like hundreds of hours. So I only upload a couple times a year. See you in the next reaction.